What's up, guys? This is EJ Holland with the Wolverine.com, and we are back with another Michigan recruiting report. We're going to talk about 5 key recruits I saw on the road. So sorry we didn't have a full recruiting show this week. I was traveling, so I got a chance to go out and see a handful of big-time targets. Before we talk about them, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel for free, get notifications every time we drop new videos. And also subscribe to the Wolverine.com. We have a special promo code running just for you. Use the code UM1. That's $1 for 2 months over at the Wolverine.com. You get premium insider information on everything Michigan recruiting, the team, transfer portal, basketball, and so much more. Head over to the Wolverine.com today. Take advantage of this special offer. Again, $1 for 2 months. Use the promo code UM1. All right, guys. So like I said, we're going to be talking about 5 key recruits I saw on the road. So I made my way to Louisa County here in Virginia and had a chance to see the nation's #1 running back, Savion Hiter. Hiter has long been a top target for Michigan, and it feels like we talk about him so much. But there is an important update with Savion Hiter. He is finalizing his official visit schedule, and his Michigan summer OV is already locked in for June 13th. So Hiter will be on campus then. Michigan also working to get him on campus in the spring. Nothing set there, but the summer official visit is already locked in. I think Michigan has continued to do a phenomenal job of recruiting Hiter. Sharon Moore, offensive coordinator Chip Lindsey, running backs coach Tony Alford, general manager Sean McGee. They all went out to Louisa County and had a chance to meet with Hiter during the winter contact period last month. Really made a strong impression on Savion, and his father, Rod, also impressed Louisa County head coach Will Patrick, who I had a chance to sit down with, and he had a lot of great things to say about Michigan and how Savion would fit in there. Overall, I still think Michigan has the momentum in this recruitment. Hiter has a special relationship with Tony Alford. I think that gives Michigan the edge here. When you look at the other contenders, a lot of them have new running backs coaches. You know, Tennessee has a new running backs coach. Penn State is about to have a new running backs coach. Georgia has a new running backs coach. So, you know, I think Alford's relationship with Hiter is going a long way in this recruitment. Now, Georgia did host him for a visit. He was able to meet the new running backs coach there late last month. I think Georgia is making a really strong move for Hiter. Ohio State is another school to definitely watch, while Carlos Loughlin is a newer running backs coach there. He did have a pre-existing relationship with Hiter during his time at Oregon. And Tennessee, you know, I think Tennessee has really turned up the heat with Savion and has really moved the needle here recently. They are looking to get his final official visit, so that one's an interesting situation to watch. I think Penn State has kind of dropped off a little bit. So right now, I would say, you know, those are the 4 teams: Michigan, Georgia, Ohio State, and Tennessee that are really at the top, with Penn State kind of fading off and others like North Carolina trying to claw their way in. But, you know, obviously I love Savion. He's the nation's #1 running back for a reason. He would be a massive, massive land for Michigan. He continues to be a top overall priority. He continues to show why he's one of the best ball carriers in the country. He had a tremendous performance at the Under Armour All-American Week event where he dominated at practices and showed his 3-down skill set. He's a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield, run between the tackles, break off long runs. He has everything you want, and Michigan is making him feel like a big priority. They just need to keep doing what they're doing, as Hiter doesn't plan to make a decision until after his June OVs. All right, let's go ahead and stay on the offensive side of the ball and talk about another Virginia prospect. This time it's on 300 wide receiver Travis Johnson. And yes, we did just talk about Travis Johnson. He was on campus a couple of weeks ago, right before the dead period. He had a chance to get his second look at Michigan after visiting for a game in September. He has quickly risen up as a priority target on the wide receiver board. It's really not hard to see why. He's 6'3", 180 pounds. Michigan has made a commitment to add more size to the wide receiver room. Johnson can continue that trend, but he's not just a big body on the outside. He's very athletic. He can stretch the field. I actually had a chance to watch him play basketball last week, and he's a very impressive athletic specimen on the court. Some of the things you see, just his jumping ability, his athleticism really translate over to the football field. I think Michigan is in a really good spot here. I think, Johnson is starting to narrow things down, starting to look at setting official visits. He hasn't locked one in with Michigan just yet, but he did tell me that he's in the process of doing that. Like with Savion Hiter, Michigan brought basically its entire offensive staff to see him. Sharon Moore, Chip Lindsey, general manager Sean McGee were all in town. Ron Bellamy made his own separate visit with Johnson. So, it'll be interesting to see if Johnson does release a top schools list here in the near future or start setting some of those OVs. He is still busy with basketball season, but I think Michigan is right at the top of the list, along with Penn State, Miami, Texas A&M, and a couple of others. All right, let's go ahead and talk about our next prospect, and that is on 300 offensive lineman Carter Scruggs, also from Virginia. Michigan obviously making a big push in Virginia, and Scruggs is a top of the board offensive line target. Now, Scruggs is from Northern Virginia, where Michigan offensive line coach Grant Newsome is originally from. Newsome made an in-home visit with Scruggs as soon as the winter contact period came open. Head coach Sharon Moore came back and saw him later in the month as well. And when I talked to Scruggs about those two visits, he told me, yeah, man, it really made me feel like a top priority. Scruggs has scheduled his official visit with Michigan. That will take place on June 6th. Now, there are some other big-time programs involved as well. He has set OVs with Penn State, Clemson, and Georgia. Oklahoma is the other school in the mix here that could receive an official visit as well. But that's kind of the small group for Scruggs as we head into a critical point in his recruiting process. He does plan to make spring visits. Obviously, he'll take those OVs in June, and then he wants to make a decision soon after that. But much like Hiter, I think Michigan just needs to keep doing what it's doing. It's really impressed Scruggs with not just, the relationship aspect with Moore and Newsome prioritizing him, but also just the offensive line production, the academics. He's a really high academic kid, and the Michigan education is something that's very appealing to him. So, I think Scruggs is also an interesting prospect. He's listed as an interior offensive lineman, but did hit a little bit of a growth spurt up to 6'5", 295 pounds. Michigan really likes him as a tackle who can also slide inside if needed, especially early on in his career. But again, I think Michigan right in that top group with an official visit already set. All right, let's flip over to the defensive side of the ball. Michigan is prioritizing on 300 cornerback Jaziel Hart out of Roanoke, Virginia at the North Cross School. Jaziel is one of my favorite prospects, man. He's such a dynamic athlete. He stars on the basketball court. He's a guy that plays on both sides of the ball at the high school level, actually plays both wide receiver and running back. He returns kicks. He returns punts. He plays corner. He can play nickel. He can play safety. The guy can do it all. He's a true Swiss Army knife at about 6 foot, 170 pounds. I really like him as a corner who can play nickel. But he has experience playing a lot of different positions. I even think he could be a Division I level wide receiver. And some schools have actually talked to him about that. Michigan going all in here on Jaziel Hart. Sharon Moore stopped by his school to see him along with several other staffers. Lamar Morgan came back literally the next day and made an in-home visit with Hart. So they are all in for him. Penn State is considered the leader on the On3 recruiting prediction machine, but I think Michigan is right up there with the Nittany Lions. I think it's a Penn State-Michigan battle with others like Virginia Tech, Tennessee, Indiana trying to claw their way into that tier. But still a little ways to go with Hart. He wants to make spring visits. He's in the process of setting up his official visit schedule, which he plans to release soon. I fully expect Michigan to get one of those OVs, and then he's looking to make a decision, quickly after that. But again, Hart remains a big priority, even though the On3 industry ranking has him as a 3-star. I agree with On3. I think he's a top 300 prospect, and there's a reason he's at the very top of the board for Michigan. All right, guys, let's end the video with our final recruit, and that is another defensive back, Jordan Thomas, out of Bergen Catholic in New Jersey. So obviously I spent a lot of time around Virginia over the last week, but also made my way to the Northeast yesterday, where I had a chance to watch Jordan Thomas go through a workout, spend some time with him, spend some time with his mother, his NIL agent. It was great to get out there and really connect with Thomas and everybody around him. Now, Thomas should already be a name Michigan fans are familiar with, like Travis Johnson. He made a visit a couple of weeks ago and had a really great time. He's in the process of setting up spring visits. He actually doesn't have any official visits set because he does want to make a commitment in the spring. I think Michigan is right at the top of the list. They built a lot of momentum after that visit, but Texas A&M is definitely a school to watch here. A&M kind of sneakily came out of nowhere and landed a commitment from his teammate on 300 defensive lineman Jermaine Kinsler. Now that could help the Aggies in their pursuit of Jordan Thomas. With that said, Thomas is a really high academic kid, high character kid, and really fits what Michigan is looking for, not just on the field, but off the field. On the field, he's a fantastic corner prospect at 6'1", 185 pounds, can also play the nickel, but he's very long, fluid, quick for his size, showed great feet in his workout. I was really impressed with Thomas. I've seen him live 4 times now, including during the season last year against a national powerhouse IMG Academy, where he did a great job on his side of the field. You really didn't even notice him, which is great for a cornerback, right? He didn't get thrown at pretty much all game against Division I wide receivers at IMG. So Jordan Thomas checks a lot of boxes. It'll be interesting to see how his recruitment goes since there's only a few months left before he makes a commitment. So for the latest on that and all my travels on the road over the last couple of weeks, head over to thewolverine.com. Remember to use that promo code UM1. That is $1 for 2 months over at thewolverine.com. Also, guys, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we will see you all next week.